Come on, big gold belt. Come on, y'all.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back. I know we're late, like way late. Back here at Big O Bell Media for another review of Bel-Air Season 2, Episode 6. And while this review is late, a week or two late, whatever it may be, life happens, we're going to be back on track, don't worry. So Episode 7 will be available for you right soon, and Episode 8 will be available for you soon as that episode airs. You know, like I said, some life things happen, so we have some technical issues, but we have to cover all these episodes because they've been so damn dope. And this episode here, episode 6, we absolutely had to talk about. And I have not seen episode 7 yet, so we're going to go in order. Adversary had not seen episode 7 yet, so we're going to go in order. So we're going to cover 6, watch 7, cover 7, and then watch 8, and then cover 8. That's how we're going to do it. So please note that while this review is a little late, we do not know what happened in the future, so we're going to self-contain this review specifically to episode 6, which this episode is called "Let the Best Man Win." Adversary, welcome back, my guy. How you feeling? How you doing? What's good?
You know, life is lifing. So still micless right now, but hopefully shit might not even be by 8 because of how we catching up, but by 9, I'll say by episode 8 and 9, I should be back in the flow of things and have my normal setup.
Oh, good. You here. We're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
But this episode focuses on Uncle Phil hosting the Banks family reunion. Yeah. And Carlton still looking for that acceptance with his dad. And Will, who is how I feel sometimes about my family. So it's just kind of the fly on the wall, not knowing everybody, but also trying to figure out all the family dynamics, but at the same time considering the Founders Award nomination. So we already knew that Will was going to consider that after Doc got in his ear about how that can help and aid him into a better school selection, along with his, obviously when you're trying to get into school, you want to have the academic side, but also too, you want to have the athletic side. And we know he has the athletic side. We know that he has a little bit of the academic stuff, but this puts him on the top of the list if he's able to do so, which now causes some conflict between him and Carlton. So let's start right there. Mm-hmm. Did you think that this was going to become a thing between the two of them? And how do you kind of see this playing out?
I did kind of see it, but I feel like it was foreshadowed. The way, like I said, the way that I guess the directors or whatever, the way they set the scenes up and position certain things to happen, you kind of get a feel. Sometimes they throw you for a loop and it's a surprise, and then other times it's like, all right, yeah, I saw that coming. So the way I guess the episode 5 was set up, I felt like that might be an issue. And then coming into episode 6, it's right off the jump where I think the episode opens with Will and Carlton having that conversation. So it was like, yeah, kind of saw that coming. And, you could see the frustration within Carlton because it's like, oh, great. The one thing I kind of had going for me, now here you come crashing the party again, to steal my thunder. So, I was interested to see how it would play out, but I definitely felt like it was foreshadowed that would be an issue between them.
Yeah. We got there's not much of it in this episode, but it's definitely the sprinkles of it from episode 5, and obviously the conversation that needed to be addressed going forward. And obviously Will also, makes it very clear that we need to kind of be on the same page here because this potential competition could also really be a provoking factor to his anxiety, his mental health. And that's the utmost importance of the family, and which is sort of his duty as his cousin to make sure he watches over Carlton. So, he wants to make sure that if I come to you transparently, very upfront with it about it, does that make it okay? Well, the answer is no, but we'll talk about it next episode. But yeah, we're preparing for the Banks family reunion, which I already knew this is going to be a depiction of Black excellence here. If anybody and I didn't realize every family do not have family reunions, but I tell you that in my family we do, and we look forward to it. It's always a good time, and the different dynamics, the different personalities. they hit it all in this episode, and it was something I was just kind of like, yeah, I know that person. I can equate that to somebody in my family. So I definitely was looking forward to this one. And anybody who knows anything knew exactly how this episode was going to end. Because if you have a family reunion, there's only one song that ends the night, and you already know that song had to end the episode. But we'll get through it and everything. But I just want to know, for you, knowing that this episode was going to focus on the Banks family reunion, and should I say a glimpse into, and which I think is a very authentic glimpse, you can tell me what you think, into the Black family reunion here. What did you think about it all? What's sort of your connection to the family reunion, and overall, what your thoughts about just the family reunion thing? We got so much little aspects of it to talk about, but just overall, when you talk about the family reunion, you talk about the Black family reunion, what does it mean to you?
I thought it was very well depicted. I thought that they did a very good job touching on all the angles and, like you said, the little nuances. I personally haven't had a family reunion, but a lot of
come through, bro. I got you. Pull up, man. Don't mess with my cousins, though.
It's like I'm like a kind of a distant cousin now. The big thing for me is a lot of my family is in Jamaica, so that's probably the main reason we haven't had a real full-on joint. But just from what I understand of how they, with the flow of them typically are, I thought it was very well depicted. I thought that all of the things that could possibly happen during a family reunion, they did a good job of showing that. And just the dynamics as the episode progressed, you really saw dynamics between certain characters, and it was crazy because some of the characters were just being introduced, and it's like, dag, for you to be a character that's just now coming on the scene in this episode, and the writers are able to tie you in all the way back to the beginning, is just, again, a credit to the people that put the show together, man. It's well done.
Yeah, I don't know which of my family members have YouTube accounts, but I know y'all watch, because actually we just had a family reunion, and we also had other means for our family to get together. Unfortunate means for our family to get together, but every time I get a chance, they always talk about the YouTube. So anybody out there in my family, I love you all. Thank you for coming through. And by the way, Adversary is part of the family now, so disrespect for him to pull up. That's just what it's going to be. And for my single female cousins, listen, we're not missing business and pleasure and family. We're going to keep it because we got those cousins, But anywho, this episode was special. And as you said, like, there was definitely moments where I just really connected to, and I felt a part of the experience. And I think you're absolutely right in terms of how they were able to bring characters to life, give them life in this that we had not seen. Of course, when we connect the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, we do know some of these characters, so just a little bit of appreciation for these characters. Now I'll talk specifically about who in a second, but I think that ultimately they just did a really good job in just taking this series in directions that, like, we just don't expect. Like, yeah, we got Phil's mom showing up, played by the legend Anna Marie Horsford, who, where do I start here? The resume is
long, and I love how they keep dipping into the cast pool of the original show.
Yeah,
granted, she's playing a different character, but
right,
actress. I was like, yes, well, all right, I see where y'all going.
And I gotta say too, I love that either their agents or just their love for this franchise says, I will make sure I'm a part of it, and we're gonna appreciate it. We're gonna eat up all the Easter eggs we can. We're gonna try to make the connections that we can. But I just think that, like, as we grew up and appreciate the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and now we get Bel-Air, it's amazing to see the actors who played it to also say, like, I didn't put in the work. I really don't owe that anything, but instead they're like, man, I loved it as much as y'all did. I think it's only right that I do this. And I thought that was so dope, and I just can't wait to see who else is going to show up. When we got a chance to interview the cast, they kept saying, man, listen, you're not going to know who to expect. They're going to keep coming, and man, they haven't lied thus. So I mean, and obviously the other big cameo and name, shall I say, in casting, not really a cameo because this is a full fleshed out character here, is Uncle Phil's brother Julius, played by no other than Bill Bellamy. Bro, my God, I was not expecting that. What did you think about the two's performances, man?
I loved it, and that's the crazy part. I remember Bill Bellamy in the heyday, How to Be a Player. Ultimate cult hood classic. If you was around in the 90s, you know what I mean? I think I was around middle school for me. If you anywhere, middle school, even probably the high school guy, somebody had a VHS copy of How to Be a Player.
You already know.
I watched that movie front to back, upside down. Bernie Mac, rest in peace. I mean, it's a hood classic.
Yeah.
So see Bill now, and my thing with him always was like I didn't really see too much of him after How to Be a Player. So I don't know. Maybe he just went on more the writing mode or the more just on a tour and do stand up. You know, whatever he was doing. I didn't see a whole lot of him after that. But to see him come back after, I ain't gonna say a hiatus, but just after not seeing him for a while, seeing him come back on a major show, on something major, and deliver the way he did, I'm watching it and I'm like, dog, and half of my mind knows it's actors, and then the other half of me is like, yo, this really Uncle Phil, like these is really two brothers for real.
Yeah.
Every dynamic you could imagine between an older and a younger brother. One brother feeling maybe slighted in certain ways, one brother maybe feeling envious in certain ways, both of them trying to, I love mom too, and everything that probably naturally happened between brothers, they showed, they executed, they delivered on it. I thought both performances was stellar for the episode.
Yeah, man. Uncle Phil, without a doubt, has to be the top of the list in terms of characters who each and every episode just brings something different. I get it. This show is really focused about Will, and while we didn't get much of Will to really kind of apply in terms of really constructing this character, Uncle Phil here, when we learning about a couple of different things, starting off with like Aunt Viv approaching him about Erica Baker, and you know she's like, hey, your phone's been going off. Would you like to tell me about Erica Baker? And he's kind of like, okay, well, let me tell you, like, you know, everyone knows what's happening with the firm, and now she wants me to consider an offer with her firm. But he says, listen, I'm not going to make a move, and a very important move, without you knowing. But Aunt Viv is still like, hey, skeptical. I should have been on the front end of this. You know, I shouldn't have to have found this out. And I love how she kind of like parlayed this conversation into like, I thought we were partners. We got to have trust. As we find out, Aunt Viv is very not should I say, it's not, the space thing, you know, so it's problematic here. But I mean, like, you know, there's always that symbolic aspect of what spades mean to what the Black community, but also in partners and trust and whatnot. So I love how they tied that all together here. But very much like Bel-Air, they're not going to make it, they're not going to draw this out. We will learn a lot more about this going forward because Erica Baker still is a character that Phil will have to have a conversation with. But Viv is still going to feel some type of way about like, hey, I would love us to continue to be the partners we are, continue to have that trust for one another, and I, you know, let me not have to find out on the receiving end like this again. But like, we're not going to make this a thing. We're just going to handle it as it comes. As we know, Phil has been very stressed out about this, and I didn't feel no sort of hostility to it. Just maybe a moment of disappointment in terms of how it played out. So, the other thing is G. Yeah, and G is looking for his son, and if you don't know the actor playing his son, I was like, I know that face, and that's Javon Wade, who I had a chance to interview. You may know him as Cyborg from Doom Patrol, which is on HBO Max. So good to see him. I think he's a fantastic actor. He's a fantastic person, by the way. Got a chance to interview him, and I know you're like, I don't know him, but beyond the interview, we got to chop it up a little bit, and just really a person that I would like to see on the screen a lot more. So him being casted into this was like, oh, this is dope. Cannot wait till we get to see him actually on screen, as he was the picture there. But then that started to intrigue Will in terms of like, whoa, what is G up to? I see him looking at this picture of his of somebody that looks very much like him. Well, I don't agree there. But if I'm not mistaken, I don't know the actor who plays G's nationality and descent, but I do know Jovan is British, and I wonder how they're going to connect this, and if he's going to come with more of an accent, or is it going to come like more Americanized. But it's gonna be interesting. But I thought when Will say he looks just like, I was like, well, no, he doesn't. But we'll go with that. Not a problem. Not mad at the casting. I think it's a fantastic actor. But like the similarities here, I want to see how they look next to each other and so on. So, but even with that, Carlton has the conversation that a lot of us be having in our family. Hey, this is a secret, so don't bring it up. Some of us know, some of us don't know. But let's not make this a thing where Will's like, why don't I know about this? Because we don't need everybody to know. Don't make this a thing, okay? Keep it on the chill, all right? We don't need the drama this weekend, with the fair reunion. But anywho, the family shows up. Bus loads of family in true Banks fashion. You got the big buses showing up. And G is going to make sure that Will knows who everybody is, and Will is going to fake it like he knows who they are. I got to tell you, G is the most MVP of a person I've ever known in my entire life. Because everybody needs that. Because for goddamn, if I go to a family function and I don't know who they are and they come in talking like they know me their entire life, I'm like, I don't even remember you.
Man. Yeah. More like I saw you. You was at the exactly. You'd be like,
and
but
G out.
It is like kudos to just piggyback off what you're saying. I agree. Like to have an individual like Jeffrey who just literally like he just has your back. Like no matter what's going on, all right, there's problems in the street, we got that. He go into Statham mode. A bunch of family you don't, cool. We're going to
Wikipedia, Rolodex.
Whatever the scenario is, he adapts himself to make sure that he like provides cover fire, if you will. And I love the way he does that.
Yeah. So one of the first interesting family members to get off is Uncle Earl, who is a man of few words and sort of rude, sort of cold, but Ashley tries to warm up to him. We can just talk about the entire episode here, but what did you think about Ashley as she tries to really connect with her eldest uncle, and how that was a little bit of a challenge for her? I'm pro Ashley and everything, so like, I'm like protective of hers. I'm like, all right, Uncle Earl, you better chill out now. That's Ashley here. But what did you think?
Yeah, well, I should have known better, but again, just a tip of the hat to the writers. They initially, as I'm watching and I'm seeing it, the guy that's playing the uncle kind of upset me a little bit for that same reason. Like, no, why is he being so? Why he?
Man, chill out, bro.
Granddaughter, like so. But it's like they take you there, and it's like I should have known. All right, if they're taking me here, they're gonna bucket you somewhere, but. They string you along and get you emotionally involved in feeling a certain way about a certain character or a situation. So I'm watching it and I'm like, man, he's such a jerk. But I like that Ashley played her role because I think Uncle Phil was like everyone has assigned certain duties. You take care of them, you watch this. Ashley, you take care of the older folks. And she was true to form. She stayed true to that. She stayed on top of it when he kind of wasn't responsive. She didn't let that deter her. She just kept, all right, well, let me try this angle. All right, let me try that angle. And she just kept at it until she was able to have that breakthrough with him, which played out, toward the end of the episode. And it was like, that's a beautiful thing, to kind of bridge that gap and make that connection.
Yeah, I resonate with the same. If it's not the kids when I was younger, if it wasn't like the kids my same age, it was always the older folks because, it's just your safe space. And as we know, grandparents or the elder folks are always like the anchor of the family. But I also think as Ashley really starts to realize how big the world is and how much knowledge is out there, why not go to the eldest person to try to really learn about your family roots? And as Hilary said, he's a man of many words, but he always looking to tell a story. It absolutely makes sense that Ashley will want to be right next to him to try to grasp whatever she can. And I think that if you talk about keeping family legacy and these stories within the family for long, this is how you do it. Pass from one of the oldest to one of the youngest here, and it just keeps passing down through generations. I loved it, man. It's amazing writing, man. I feel like beyond writing and people projecting some of these thoughts from their head, a lot of this is coming from the heart to pen. There's folks like, I have to add this. This is how it was for me, and I need to make sure this is in there. And we're gonna resonate with that. And it's always gonna have me tuning in each and every week.
Yes.
But with that too, we got the competition. We got a lot of competitions going on here. We got the cousins having competition. We got the brothers having competition. And so much. There's a lot of different things. I'm going to kind of put this all together and kind of give it to you. But even when it came down to the prayer, there was a competition. Aunt Viv on the side, making sure Phil knows you're not going to be doing this while God's watching. Yeah, I love that. And as I said, when it comes down to Black cookouts and family reunions, they hit all the tropes here. From the dominoes, the spades, and the cooking contest, somebody on the grill being completely destructive. Listen, that it never fails that somebody on the grill thinking they know what they're doing and is blowing it up. They hit it all, man. But I also think it was interesting between Uncle Phil and Julius. So I said Uncle Phil and Uncle Julius is that as they start to describe success and how there's more than one path and the difference between application and theory. And I think this is important for the audience, and I'm gonna give it to you here in saying that, like, there's not one way to reach a goal. And I think that these conversations that I'll be having, while you can look at the drama that's happened between the two brothers, it's for the audience to be able to really dissect and extract the information and knowledge that's being told in this. And then this is just a scene numerous times throughout this episode that you just had to kind of sit back and listen, like, oh yeah, they're dropping some gems here. So what did you think overall in this entire episode? Just, you mentioned it earlier about the two and what they had to do and to compete and whatnot, but when it came down to really the material here, what did you think about Uncle Phil and Uncle Julius's conversation?
I loved it. I thought, like, okay, in them kind of scenarios, and that's something you see a lot. I mean, I guess that happens in all families, but that's something you see a lot of in like foreign families or families that aren't originally from the US. All the time. Oh, your cousin is doing it. Oh, you only got a B? Your cousin, he about to graduate it. That constant comparison, it happens. Even friends of mine who's, their parents is from another country, they tell me, one of my mans was talking about it the other day. He was like, dog, when I was like in middle school, high school, my mother used to crush me. And she probably didn't even realize that she was doing it to that degree. But it's always the competition. And then when you have a scenario where the brothers, like Uncle Phil and his brother now, are bumping heads, it trickles down to the sons. Both sons are fully aware of what's going on. And it's like, they almost indirectly participate in it because they have no choice. Like, all right, I see what's happening. I don't really want to jump in, but at the same time, if I don't respond accordingly, I'm gonna hear about it later. So Same deal. Oh, you play lacrosse? Well, Carlton plays lacrosse too. Like, and Will unknowingly walking head first. And, oh yeah, he plays lacrosse. Oh, he does. We just won states. We just did it. And it's always the back and forth, trying to outdo each other. Same thing at the football game. You know what I mean? Trying to outdo each other. And I love the decision that Will made there to kind of boost Carlton up, and that shows the love and the no matter what, we're still family at the end of the day.
Yeah, the camaraderie.
Yes, and then the conversation at the end is very revealing, and this is kind of what I was saying earlier about how you can take a character, place them in an episode, but at the same time give them so much plot armor or backstory that it's like, yo, you feel like this is a character you've been familiar with the whole series, and this is their first. So the back and forth, you get insight to the childhood, and okay, this is what Uncle Phil came from. These were the situations going on. And then as they talk, ultimately you discover each one was envious of the other. So it's like all of this competition we have with each other isn't so much rooted in a place of hate. It's more, it's damn near envy. And it's so, I heard, how does the saying go? I guess a thin line between love and hate, or you could people that are your haters really love you. It's like, it's real. Like, you hate someone so much till you love them, or you love someone so much till you hate them. And you think generally they're opposite poles, but when you break it down, that thin line, it's real. It's like more so two opposite sides of the same coin, as opposed to just being opposite sides of the scale. So this competition, this fierce, this always trying to outdo you. I'm gonna throw this jab here. I'm gonna do this, to where somebody on the outside might be like, dog, are they about to? And then you dive in it and really find, no, we really love each other. We really kind of envy each other and kind of wish we had the qualities the other one has. But because we can't express that, or we're not sure of how to bring that up, it manifests through this competition. So I love that talk they had at the end where everything got broken down. And then Phil even says, well, hey, look, moving forward, let's both shoulder the responsibility as brothers. I love that.
Yeah, the power conversation, man. I loved it too. And again, this series continues to not take very normalized.
Mhm.
It's sad to say even normalized, but like, you know, it doesn't tell storytelling in the way that we always see it. You expect drama, then fighting and conflict, but I mean, this show continues to set a path forward for what should be normalized in terms of handling certain situations. These are two brothers that clearly love each other, but one conversation and they're on the same page here. And also beyond that too, Uncle Julius then immediately passing the wealth back to Will and also educating him, because again, when you talk about family legacy, this is how you keep your family strong. It's by passing these lessons on, instead of the crabs in the barrel thing, or you know how most people do. You know, when there's a sense of wealth, then one person takes it and run off and forget how they got there and all the folks behind him. And I think that we see these educational moments being spread out like an infection through everybody who's involved in terms of like grasping this and for the betterment of the Banks family. So yeah, you know, the last thing we really got to talk about here, again, as we already discussed, I'm just looking over my notes, is that the brothers hashing out their problems. You know, him bringing to light that, you know, he's a single father, but also taking care of his mother. And then, as you mentioned, Uncle Phil looking at him like, man, you're really the big brother, man. You out here really doing your thing. And I love that, giving him his flowers. That's a beautiful thing to see. One black man, they're brothers, but one black man to another. I love that. Also, Carlton and Uncle Phil, as Uncle Phil lets him know, I'm proud of you. That is an acceptance that Carlton has been looking for. I quickly forgot that Aunt Viv and him in the space thing, and Aunt Viv, it looked like she didn't know what she was doing, but comes down to lay down the
Yeah.
law. That was dope. I loved that.
And the conversation between Aunt Viv and Phil's mom.
Yes.
Because throughout the episode, it's kind of like, she's kind of muscling in. But then where it presents like a problem, but then at the end, they sit down and it's Uncle Phil's mother giving Viv, you come on, girl, you know damn well you did behind every family reunion is the woman doing the work. She
damn right.
Her flowers. So I thought,
yep, damn right, absolutely. And then even Will at the end talking about after all this, the importance of family, man. We need to help G, so we know that's gonna be a focal point going forward. Love that, because G was just kind of just working this entire time. And also adding a little bit of comedy, but it's important that he also feels like family, and we take down that responsibility. We need to support him as he supports us, as he supported everybody this entire episode to every capacity, from Hilary and the food to Ashley and the understanding to Will introducing to family, the moral support for everybody. So I love that going forward. The last and only thing that we talk about here is Hilary, who is completely, I'm not even gonna say she's completely trash, but like having her ex around is trash. Her enabling it is kind of trash. It's just,
in her defense, because I was gonna say that's the only other thing we ain't touch on. In her defense, she didn't know he was gonna be at the reunion.
He's a Bama. He's a cold Bama coming in.
But I don't. Like Uncle, like her dad should have had more discretion there. But also, I feel you. Like, cuz kind of bammed out, because it's like, all right, that's your ex. Being around her, see, the human heart, bro, is such a funny thing, because you can have, like she said, the way she described his character was like he was kind of stuck up and full of himself and not appreciative of what he had. Now, you know, time has passed, you come back around her, all of a sudden all these old feelings get stirred up. Okay, that's understandable. Then you now can observe her with someone else, which makes you realize even more, like he said,
absolutely,
I didn't realize what I had, and da-da-da. And I'll give you that. That happens. I'll give you that. But what I can't respect is you knowing that she's happy and she in a scenario, and you in there waiting in the ranks trying to either break it up or throw your influence around to sway it. Right? Because he met Jazz. Jazz didn't know that was her ex, so he was kind of fanboying over him. Didn't come to find out, he used to mess with him. And it's kind of been like awkward since then. And that was episode 5. You know what I mean? It's been awkward since the last episode. And then now coming to this episode where you think, okay, the ex was a one and done. Oh no, he popped back up. Oh, he at the crib at the family reunion.
Yeah, like just, you know, grabbing the babies, acting like he
Like,
real fam. Like, that's kind of wild, bro.
bro, you doing a lot, cuz.
A lot.
You were invited, and he even said, like, she was like, what are you doing? He was like, your dad invited me. Da-da-da. And she's like, well, you can't be here. And then, but he did hit her with a lie. He was like, well, that's your boyfriend. Why ain't he here? And it was kind of like, all right, touche. I give you that one. But overall, I feel like you should respect the situation if you know. It's one thing if you're dealing with somebody and they don't tell you that there's somebody else that you got to find out, or cheaters run up on you with the camera. It's different. But in this case, you know, you seen cuz, you met cuz, you spoke to him. Don't look at my face and then as soon as I turn around, you try and go, don't do that, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
no respect for Jazz, no respect for Hilary, no respect for the family. He had his own ambitions there, and listen, it's toxic, and it's complete trife. But you know, that's what chaotic people do, man. And I as we see this episode leave off with Jazz saying, hey, come through, I'm gonna leave the door open. And clearly she's not gonna get that text. So just more drama ahead. And Will said, my name is Bennett, and I ain't in it. Anyway, folks, y'all already checked out this episode, so come back and if you haven't, you know, obviously check out episode 6. Come check out this review. We got the other ones lined up for you now, but we're going to get out of here because we got more work to do. We got to play catch up. So check out episode 7 review, which you found on the channel very shortly. Thank y'all for checking this one out.